What is up, guys? This is Rallo here from Brothers in Games, and today I'm going to talk about the top 10 gaming myths and conspiracy theories. You know, gaming is a huge industry, and being a huge industry like any other, you of course have some myths and conspiracy theories and beliefs that some of them actually turned out to be true. So why don't we start with the number 10 spot. So at the number 10 spot, you have the myth that you can't beat Sonic 2 with Knuckles. So Knuckles is sort of an overpowered character in Sonic 2, and the entire game really goes easier with him than if you use Sonic. But when you get to the last boss, when you get to Robotnik, you can't beat him. At least that's what people thought. A lot of people were angry that they died like hundreds of times trying to beat Robotnik with Knuckles, and then they thought that you can't beat him because Knuckles can't jump high enough, whereas Sonic can. And it is true, Sonic does jump higher than Knuckles, but if you do get the timing right with Knuckles, you can beat Robotnik. And of course this myth turned out to be false, because why in the hell would developers make a character that you can't beat the game with? On the number 9 spot, there is a myth that you can't really prove, because this is actually a theory that Squall is dead in Final Fantasy VIII. He is the main protagonist, and at the end of disc 1, he is killed by a gigantic shard of ice that impales him. And then some of the gamers thought that the rest of the game is actually his dream in the final moments of his life, and there's actually a website dedicated to this theory, but I don't buy it, actually. I don't know, until developers say that it actually is true what the people are saying, I'm not buying this, and me not actually being a great Final Fantasy fan, I don't really care. Let's do a creepy one. Why don't we? At the number 8 spot, you probably heard of this, because if you haven't, then you've been living under a rock. So a 4chan user wrote about receiving a blank cartridge with just Majora's Mask written on it, and then when he started the game, he found a file named Ben, and when he started the game, a main character was being followed by a statue of actually the main character of Link, and then upon restarting the game, because he thought that it was just a glitch, it says Ben drowned. Actually, you had the Ben file, and then a drowned file appeared upon restarting the game. And actually there are a lot of videos dedicated to this one myth, and I don't really buy this either. So while we're at the topic of The Legend of Zelda, let's go to number 7 spot and find another Zelda myth. So when it comes to the original Legend of Zelda, a lot of players figured out that the third dungeon kind of looks like a swastika. I mean, I don't know, it's probably true, it is true, but here's the deal. They probably thought that if the game were to suck, at least the game would be famous for having a Nazi symbol in it. You know, shout out to old Adolf Hitler. Here's one on the number 6 spot that you probably wish were true, especially when you were a kid and playing Tomb Raider on either your PC or PS1. Of course, the nude glitch, or mod, or mode, or script, or cheat, anything. People tried so many different things to make Lara Croft naked, and it actually didn't turn out to be true. But there was a mod made, I'm not sure actually for what, I think it's for Tomb Raider 2, where it says that it would be a nude mod, but then when she jumps, she would explode. I don't know, this entire shit makes no sense to me. Of course, I would understand why people want Lara Croft to be nude. I mean, look at those titties, those weird pointy ass boobs. And on the 5th spot on our top 10 list is I think one of the weirder ones, and I like this one, and not because I'm a huge American football fan, because I'm not, but here's the deal. A star NFL player who is featured on a yearly editions of Madden, video game of course, franchise, is doomed to suffer a setback, probably and usually an injury, or a personal matter that keeps him off the field during the subsequent season. And it actually has a few examples like Peyton Hills, Sean Alexander, Donovan McNabb, Vince Young, who all got screwed over in the next season, and it's actually weird to me. I know that if I were to be an NFL player, that I would never be on the cover of Madden, like, in my life. Although they did get paid for that. Depends on how much money they earned. Now here's one that actually turned out to be true, sorta. Now, supposedly E.T., the Atari 2600 game, was so bad that Atari buried thousands of copies in a desert in the western United States. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but it turned out to be sort of true, because in Alamogordo, New Mexico, there were some cartridges found. A solid amount of cartridges, enough that the city of Alamogordo cashed in around $37,000 on selling those cartridges. Yeah, that is a lot of money for not doing anything, Alamogordo. I don't know. I have no idea how to pronounce the name of the city. Alright, so we got to the top 3, and on the third spot on our list is Saddam Hussein wanted to conquer the world with PlayStation 2s. So Saddam Hussein, the Iraqi dictator, it was at least claimed, that in the 2000 holiday season, he wanted to order thousands of copies of PlayStation 2s so he can make a weapon. You can't make a weapon with a PlayStation 2. I'm sorry, I just don't see a PlayStation 2 being a weapon. A weapon of mass destruction. I don't see it. I do not buy this myth, but it is funny to hear because it was pretty popular, and even today, about 15, 16 years after it happened, it still is very popular. And the number 2 spot on our list, I'm sure that a lot of you thought about this if you owned a Nintendo console. Why is Donkey Kong called Donkey Kong? Now, there are 2 theories to this. The first one being that there was a mix-up with the translation, and that instead of monkey, they wrote donkey, which is kind of valid. Now, here's another one that's also pretty valid, that was a smudge on a fax machine copy, and that instead of monkey, it kind of seemed like a D instead of an M. Of course, a designer at Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, actually debunked this theory himself by explaining that donkey was a word used in Japan to say that somebody is stupid or goofy. So, there you go. 2 theories in one spot, just wiped out by one sentence. It's incredible. And on the number 1 spot, we have the biggest conspiracy theory regarding games, and the untruest. Polybius, an arcade machine in the 1980s, was in Portland, Oregon, actually popular in Portland, Oregon, and a lot of gamers actually said that they had amnesia, nightmares, or suicidal tendencies because of it. And a lot of people thought that the CIA actually used it as a test, as a military test weapon. And the entire thing turned out to be untrue because there never was a Polybius machine. It did not exist. Or at least that's what the US government will want you to believe. I'm just saying. So yeah, guys, these were the top 10 conspiracy theories and myths regarding games Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.